Hello my lovely viewers, today I'm cooking mini Khachapuri and Lobiani on puff pastry. This is an excellent Georgian snack and part of my Christmas menu, and here you can take a look at menu. Okay, let's go back to Khachapuri and Lobiani. Khachapuri, you probably all know, this is Georgian cheese pie, and Lobiani is Georgian bean pie where you have boiled beans inside. They are both excellent snacks and they are very good with wine, and they are canape style, so you could feed your guests easily. So let's get started. For Khachapuri you need 400 grams of cheese, half feta and half mozzarella, and I have already shredded them, 1 egg, some salt if necessary to put to the cheese, and of course puff pastry. I have decided to work on ready-made puff pastry just because it is easier, and it is easier to wrap the canape style dish when you have to do a lot for New Year. So if you take a good quality puff pastry, it's going to work perfectly because its filling is divine. So for Lobiani, which is a bean pie, I have taken initially 250 grams of beans and boiled them for around 3 hours until they are easy to smash, and then you simply drain them, and that's it, your beans are ready. That's important to take the beans which has very thin skin and boil them really well. During the boiling, the 250 grams of beans are going to turn into 400 grams because they are going to absorb water and double in the size. You will also need to take very high quality 70 grams of butter and Georgian dry ajika. This dry ajika I made on my own, and I will put the link of the recipe below in the description box. But in case you don't want to make dry ajika, or you are lazy for New Year for making any experiments, don't worry, there is an option which is very simple. It's black pepper. So you have to use either dry ajika or black pepper, and both options are very traditional and very common. And you will also need some salt and puff pastry. That's it. To your beans, you want to add your butter, around 70 grams, 70, and then half a teaspoon of salt. If you are using dry ajika, be careful with the salt because dry ajika already has some salt in it. And then you want to smash it with a fork. If your beans have harder skin, try to use a food processor for smashing them together. So you have to arrive to a very creamy, smooth consistency, beans and butter. And this is, my friends, is a perfect combination. Now I'm going to divide this substance into two and make a little portion with black pepper and another with dry ajika. So you literally add as much black pepper as you think is appropriate for you. There is no quantity I want to give you because everybody is individual, but also consider that it should be quite black peppery. So you smash it with black pepper, maybe need to add some salt, test it on salt, and one mixture with black pepper is ready. So to another portion, I simply add dry ajika. I have to note that when you make dry ajika, according to my recipe in the description box below, you need to leave it on the air on the plate so it could really dry out. And only this type of dry ajika you want to add to your beans. Again, there are no measurements for dry ajika. Some people like it light, some people like it peppery. Ajika has a lot of pepper in it, so get prepared and add it according to your taste. And our second mixture is ready too. And then you want to prepare a tray. Put some vegetable oil on the tray, be generous with vegetable oil, and just put it aside, and later we are going to put our bean pies in it. So let me tell a couple of words about puff pastry. I've chosen the highest quality puff pastry that I could find, and also it is already rolled and very thin because we are making a canape food and you want your pastry to be really thin. So I cut the puff pastry into rectangulars, and they are so thin that I don't even need a roller. I just simply stretch it with my hands with very little flour. I don't even use much flour. I put around 1 full teaspoon of my filling, and I simply fold the rectangulars into triangles and put the edges together with a finger, and here is what you get, a lobiani in a triangle shape. Let's make another one. And some more. And this is what we get. This is 8 lobiani that fit into my tray, and this goes into preheated oven of 200 degrees for around 20 minutes depending on the oven. And this is what I got. Very amazing. Let's cut it into 2. You see, the dough is very light and the filling is defined, very creamy, very peppery. It might be very simple, but it is truly very delicious, especially if you eat it warm. So now let's do khachapuri. In my mixture of feta and mozzarella, I simply add 1 egg, just because the eggs combines together everything and the cheese is not going to come out so easily in case the puff pastry breaks. And also I wanted to say that before putting egg, you might want to try your cheese for salt, because it might need to be added some salt. In my case it wasn't necessary, but just bear it to your mind. And then I take the puff pastry, again I cut it into perfect squares. But this time I put khachapuri filling, around 1 teaspoon, in the center, and I take the edges and I combine them in the center, and I sort of fold khachapuri like an envelope, and this is a perfect khachapuri shape we get. And this way you will differentiate it from lobiani very easily. And again my tray goes into oven preheated by 200 degrees Celsius for around 20 minutes, and it came out very delicious. I'm going to cut it into 2 and you will see all the cheese melted. Of course it is tastier when it is hot or warm, but you can eat it cold too. I will tell you a secret. You can make all the khachapuri and lobiani with a puff pastry, and just before putting them into oven you can put them into the fridge, and you can put them into oven when the guests arrive, and everything is going to be so fresh, so tasty. They are both perfect with wine. The recipe makes around 16 pieces of each, khachapuri and lobiani, and you will have plenty of food to serve your guests. And I was very happy to cook for you, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.